Welcome back to Mastering Retail, a podcast brought to you by Flywheel Digital, covering everything you need to know in the world of e-commerce. This episode is our last episode in our APAC Masterclass season, covering none other than e-commerce in Japan, which might actually be the most familiar for most of our audience. My name is Emma Irwin, and I am a senior editor and specialist at Flywheel. In this episode, we're going to cover consumer behavior differences in Japan versus China and the West, key players in the Japanese e-commerce market, and of course, our retail foundations. Let's meet our guest for this episode.
My name is Tomoyuki Maeda. I'm a Japan market representative for Flywheel. Flywheel has been in Japan since 2018.
Very nice. This is the first time, I think this is the first time that it's been mentioned that Flywheel has a Japanese presence and we have an office in Tokyo and everything, which is really cool.
Yes. It's been an amazing journey to launch Flywheel in Japanese market.
And then I'm curious, what did you do before you worked at Flywheel?
Prior to working at the Flywheel, I was working at a startup. We help international brands and local agency with technology.
That's awesome. All right. A question we ask everyone for Mastering Retail is what the last thing they purchased on Amazon is.
Last thing I purchased at Amazon is the food for my cat. So it comes with packaging. It's a huge science, the healthy cat food, which my cat really likes.
One last question before we get deeper into topics is, we asked this, another one that we asked to everyone, but I'm going to ask it now and we'll come back to it at the end for you to answer at the end of the episode. But something that is on your digital wish list. So I'll have you think about it. And what that means is just something that you've added to your cart, but you just won't actually purchase. And then we'll come back to it at the end, if that sounds good.
Sounds good.
In this season, which you should listen to all the way through, we've learned about differences in consumer behavior, such as China versus the West, Southeast Asia versus the West, Southeast Asia versus China. You get the gist. So of course, I had to ask Tomo about how Japanese consumers fit into this picture and what they expect out of their shopping experiences.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of difference in similarity and also differences. Japanese consumers generally quite, demanding, and also because of the size of the country, products tend to be compact. So there's a lot of demand to compact and nicely packaged, and also the service is also requested, consumer point of view. There is also seasonality in the market. So, and I think many people like some cute design or compact pop design, that type of thing in Japanese market. I know that the Western market more conscious on sustainability. And that influences also, I think, also inspires Japanese consumers as well. So somehow, I think, interrelated. Also, Chinese market, I think Chinese consumers, from my personal perspective, Chinese consumer like to own brand, Chinese brand, as well as like to try new international brand, like Japanese. They like Japanese brand. They enjoying some other international brands. And many Chinese brands are becoming more innovative, becoming more scalable. So it's great that also Chinese brands are becoming more prominent in the market.
We've also learned about the prominence of e-commerce across the region. So I asked Tomo about just how big of a role e-commerce plays in everyday life in Japan.
I think the e-commerce is becoming bigger and bigger, and becoming more so important. People prefer to more frictionless transaction. So country has been very cash-oriented country, but now it's becoming more cashless transaction has become more popular. Mobile transaction and e-commerce. A lot less people use desktop in Japanese market compared with the US, more mobile, which might be more similar to Chinese market.
Interesting. Who are the big e-commerce players in Japan?
So obviously Amazon is one of the key player, and Rakuten is also Amazon's competitor. Also Yahoo Japan and Line Corporation, they are quite big in Japanese market. So these three companies are quite big players.
Why do you think that Amazon has succeeded in Japan, but not necessarily China? And then I know Amazon exists in some of the Southeast Asian countries, but it's not as big as, say, Lazada or Shopee. But why has it done so well in Japan?
Yeah, that's a really good question. But I think Amazon has been here more than 20 years and now become well established. I think when I meet with people at Amazon, they are really balanced between US company and also adapting local culture, trying to localize their service for Japanese market and bring a local employee and service and processes. They are really tailored for local operation. So I think that has been very successful.
I see. So you gave me 3 of those top e-commerce players. And can you tell me about how they kind of differ from each other? Would you buy certain products on Amazon versus Rakuten or?
Yes, the way the setup is quite different, but Rakuten is really helping many sellers to be able to transact local product, and it's good way to find many different vendors. Yahoo is part of SoftBank, and they also integration with mobile payment apps, and there's lots of points and motivation for consumer to try to purchase product during sales period. That experience is quite unique, and Amazon is very similar to US. It's very efficient and delivers the product, easy to find a product that you need. So it's all quite different. I think the way they sell product, but all the platform have a uniqueness.
Interesting. I've done some searching around on Amazon.jp, and if you put it in English, it basically is exactly the same as Amazon US, which is, it's nice. And then I'm assuming if you flip it over to Japanese, everything still is the same. And so it's cool to kind of know that even though we're sitting on different sides of the world, that experience of shopping is exactly the same.
Yes. You can instinctively find the product and help localize the language.
Now that you have an understanding of some basic consumer preferences and the presence of e-commerce in Japan, let's get into the foundations of retail, those media and retail elements that are critical for brands to understand. So we've got a pretty solid understanding of the different ad types that exist within Amazon's platform in the West, such as sponsored products, sponsored brand videos, sponsored display, DSP, and beyond. But are all of those ad types present within the Amazon Japan UI, and are they utilized by most brands?
Yes, we do have of course, sponsored product, sponsored brand, sponsored display, and sponsored video, all kind of other units similar available in this market. We do have a DSP, and AMCs are also available to help uncover the insights that we couldn't capture from just MS or DSP. Brand always excited about try new campaign type. So the strength of Amazon is having first party data, and that capture clients more adoption to new campaign types or new approach with upper funnels.
Is there anything that media on the Amazon Japan side has in Japan that doesn't exist in the US?
In terms of type of campaign for media advertising specific, I think it's pretty consistent and aligned with US capability. It's just like some time gap of capability comes after the US market release.
Would you say that the brands that you're working with really understand how media works on Amazon, or are you doing a lot of like education in terms of how these different ads work?
Yeah, it really depends on clients, and we are enjoying to collaborate and share the learning. We discover some clients also coming from formerly work at Amazon, and also share to create unique synergies. We also enjoy bringing some of best practice coming from other market, such as US, and our clients get to fast to adapt as an early adapter and try to create new caseworks.
And you get to work pretty closely with Amazon, right? I think that's really cool, where you have a nice partnership with Amazon and just trying to help everyone succeed.
Yes. We are incredibly collaborative with Amazon and clients, and we also work regionally as well as globally across team, which helps our clients. Across the team, we have more transparency and alignment and shared learnings, which we really enjoy working with our clients.
Speaking of working with Amazon, you'd be thrilled to know that we're working on an entire season of Mastering Retail for our clients and colleagues in Japan, in Japanese. But why?
Yeah, we like to help Japanese brand and also international brands who are involved in this market to help them understand and guide healthy way. We like to build a good ecosystem in this market. So it will help what are some of the global or worldwide practices, and we can share that. That will be helpful for people who are involved with Amazon.
So be on the lookout for that coming soon. And don't worry if you don't speak Japanese. I don't. We'll keep you in the loop if any secrets are uncovered. Okay, back to media. Do Japanese consumers respond well to the advertisements they're seeing and the different campaigns that they see? Sometimes I think like in the US, people have I've learned that the sponsored product is a good thing. And when you see it, maybe it is actually recommending something to you that you wouldn't have found otherwise. But would you say Japanese consumers are at all skeptical of seeing something like a sponsored product or a sponsored brand video, or they just fully embrace it?
That's a very interesting question. I think Japanese consumers embracing ads format, and when they see, they're very conscious about what they see, and if they are not so interested in with a product, they want to find the right product. But I think Amazon has a great recommendation and customer experience for term of ads, so much with customers' interest. So you still have a good experience.
And now, let's move on to retail. I'm going to ask you, I know that media is your specialty, but I'm going to ask you a retail-ish related question. I'm wondering, in the US, Amazon is primarily first-party vendors selling, and then there are third-party sellers. And what I've learned in talking to our colleagues in China is that on the Chinese marketplaces, it's primarily third-party sellers, and there's a much smaller kind of amount of 1P activity. What does Amazon Japan look like in that regard?
There are a lot of third-party sellers, also the vendors as well. But many cross-border sellers also shipping product from their own country to this market, which is, I think, one of the strengths of Amazon as well. You can deliver the product through the Amazon. Less before you have to import product and deliver through a distributor, but now you can ship product directly to this market if you go through the Amazon. So more international product are available in this market.
And I think it's interesting, this actually came up in a Slack thread. You mentioned bringing product into Japan and lots of international brands bringing product and being able to just send it directly over without having to go through the whole distribution ordeal. But someone had posted, hey, my US buy box on a product is being won by Amazon Japan. What is happening? And it was interesting that somehow the algorithm decided that the best way to fulfill a product to a US consumer was to send it from Japan. And so products go vice versa. And it wasn't necessarily a Japanese brand, but we were backtracking because the person had kind of thought it was like not actually Amazon Japan. It was someone pretending to be Amazon Japan. But we were able to track it back and see. And it was just really interesting to see that the product, it made the most sense for it to come all the way from Japan.
Yeah. I think, actually, I remember now, one of the unique initiatives Amazon Japan is doing is Japan store in Amazon US. So promoting, helping small local businesses to be able to sell product to the US as well. That's something I think Amazon Japan is also pushing to.
1P versus 3P and fulfillment methods. How much more retail can you get? Let's learn about what Tomo has seen make brands really successful on Amazon in Japan, combining media and retail elements.
I think choosing the right product, right SKU, and definitely leverage Amazon ads to accelerate their growth. We help with unique technology to be able to optimize with when you invest. So across all day, we can help them optimize what time you can start investing. So optimizing time is really important. So these three things help clients very much efficiently, and brands are successful leveraging these things.
Tomo mentioned picking the right SKU, which throughout this podcast series we've learned requires doing that market and competitive research to understand product sizing and pricing and what content should look like, and then testing and learning with your media strategy. But what wouldn't make a good product for selling on Amazon Japan?
Products it has to carry and packaging again at the fulfillment center. These are difficult to, especially I remember, especially during COVID time, people have to do social distance, and it's difficult for carrying around large items. So large product item, I think it's difficult. Whereas compact, but it has a decent price, and for example, like luxury item would be also you can ship easily and don't need to repackaging. This type of thing, I think, good to help to succeed.
Last up in this episode, since we've covered consumer differences, the role of e-commerce and what players exist, and the foundations of media and retail on Amazon Japan, I asked Tomo if there was anything else that I missed that was really important to talk about.
For international brands to consider Japanese market to expand, it's a good time because currency is Japanese currency is historically low. So your entrance cost is you can save a lot of money when you consider, because initial investment usually you have to be careful, but now it helps you save money. So I think that's also advantage if you consider market entrance right now.
That's a good tip. I would not have thought of that on my own.
Also a good time to travel too.
So does anyone want to buy me a plane ticket to Japan? No? Okay. Well, let's get back to what's on Tomo's digital wish list. Something lingering in his digital cart that he just won't purchase that's not cat food. And why?
Gaming monitor. I sometimes find it quite interesting and looking for, but basically my wife won't approve it. So
I love that.
So it's in there all the time.
Gotcha. What's your favorite game to play?
So sometimes I play with my son, Mario Kart.
Love Mario Kart.
Mario Kart, yes. If it's with my friend, Gran Turismo. It's a motor racing game with PlayStation.
Very nice. I like that they're both racing games.
Racing
One is
game.
just a little bit more children friendly, and then for adults.
Yes.
And that wraps up this episode of Mastering Retail. Thank you to Tomo for teaching us about Japan, and be sure to listen to all of our APAC Masterclass episodes for a full understanding of the region, its nuances, and how enterprise brands can find success across the different markets. I've been your host, Emma Irwin, and this episode was produced by Klaus Cancel with sound design by Ina Satenji. See you next time. Exciting things are on the way.